so my friends here can see me.
Yeah, come.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This time I came by invitation. Last year I filmed the last minute. And Baroness Verma, you were here last year. Thank you for having me again, and all the esteemed guests, Lady and Duchess, my esteemed colleagues who spoke before, gentlemen, thank you for joining and making your point. But when I thought, my man asked me, would you like to speak again this year? And I'd like you, she said, to talk about, how do you pick up on the signs of domestic abuse and so on? Because last year really was my coming out party here in a room similar to this, because it was the first time I actually spoke publicly that I am a domestic abuse survivor. So something you talk about. It's anathema to people, so they say, to people from certain backgrounds. That doesn't happen. You just smile and wave, and but that was my history. And I thought, how can I explain what happens? Because as you said, it's not just about actual physical violence, although I did have that experience, but the coercive control, the mental violence. If people could actually see what we look like inside, all blooded. I remember describing that to a young man about, he had a certain behavior towards his wife, and I said, if you could just see her, you'd probably see her with her nails broken, with bleeding, because she's fighting for her place and her voice. Tears streaming down. She's bloodied. She's in a corner, cowering, all dirty and torn. And he said, I didn't think about that. Because that's what happens inside. So what does A Tale of Two Cities, Columbo, and Welsh poetry have to do with any of this? Well, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I can tell you that when you are in an abusive relationship, that's the kind of ambiguity that you live with. The best of times, the worst of times. And that is why people seldom realize what you are doing, that you are struggling. You are also a participant in your own demise. You're trauma bonded. There is shame, there is pride, there is dependence. So it's like sometimes you're caught into a whole big whodunit. Have you watched Columbo? Has everybody watched Columbo in the room? So I don't need to explain Columbo. Yes? You see the crime, you know the villain, and then we all sit around to wait to find out when is Columbo going to find out what's going to get him undone. Yes? And I know some of us watch and we see our daughters, our friends, our aunts suffering, and we're wondering, when will they see that they are actually in the middle of a most serious crime? The death of who they are, to their very core. But why is it that they can't see? I remember for myself, I was groomed by a man 13, 14 years older than myself. In my TED Talk, if you watch my TED Talk, I say about the fact that I was one of those people from a very high level background, high achiever, 4 or 5 children, really, really, Miss Goody Two Shoes, top of the class, everything. And when I got into my first year of university, I dropped out of university because I got pregnant. But I never told the story that I was actually a victim myself of being groomed by somebody 14 years older than myself. And of course it's a good story, because you see me here, I became a lawyer and everything, and I've accomplished all of those things. However, there was one moment when I told him that I was pregnant. He said, it's this. And that was the moment I thought, you are the villain. You are my enemy. The enemy to my freedom, the enemy to identity, the enemy to all of what God had put inside of me. And so therefore, what I'd like us to understand is that there's a battle that's going on for our girls, our women, our aunts, our uncles, and can I dare to say our men? They have feelings too. And there is abuse that happens. But today is about women. Yes? There is a battle that is waging. And collectively, we've got to keep our eyes open. We've got to learn the signs. We've got to be our own little Columbos. Because they don't see it. And what we don't want is for them to see it when it's too late, when they're the 1 in 4, or the 1 of the 2 every week, or the one that ends up being under the care of Dr. Shaima, a psychiatric nurse, a psychiatric doctor, sorry. Yes? We have got to understand that we are the ones with the responsibility. The laws, as Baroness Verma says, what's the point of a law if it has no teeth? What's the point of a law? No teeth. Who is going to be the one that ensures that the laws are actually adhered to? Us, the people, who take the time to speak, who take the time to wait in line to report, who takes the time to ask, do you need any help? That's what I would like to say today. Let us not, as my Welsh poet Dylan Thomas says, we will not go gently into that good night. We will